Hey guys, Connie here. Welcome back to another video, guys. And today we are going to talk about the spirit of fear and how you can overcome it. And I'm also going to add the spirit of shame. I'm going to keep this video at least less than 15 minutes so that way you guys get the solution and you apply it to your life. I'm going to give you my testimony, my stories, so that way you don't feel alone. Disclaimer, I am not a professional. Please seek medical help, professional help if you're in need of counsel, okay? This is just for my entertainment purposes. This is my experience. I'm not professional, okay? So let's get on with it. It has been brought to my attention that when you elevate to a new reality and you quantum jump into the infinite field of possibilities, whether you find the love of your life or you start that business, we forget that there's people that are still in a frequency or vibration lower. That doesn't mean they're better than us or we're better than them. That just means they're still suffering. Okay? And God is all around us. So unless we allow God into our life, we're going to continue to suffer. We have that free will to do so. Okay, that's what I want to start off with. I had no idea I was living in fear until autoimmune and PCOS and all of this and the stress accumulated to where it's like, thank God I have all these answers. Thank God I have all these blood tests. Now I can actually do something about it. So the spirit of fear, right, and is one of those things where it doesn't want you to recognize. It wants you to be unconscious. So I remember one time I was sitting in class and I was bawling my eyes out, and this was back in what, like ninth grade, and I had no idea what PTSD was. I had no idea what trauma was. I just knew that all I did was I wanted to cry and I'm just angry all the time. So I was trying to figure out my emotions. And it wasn't until this year that I was like, oh my God, for so long, my ancestors have ran away from genocide and persecution and trying to hide themselves, dim their own light. So this fear isn't just from me. Remember, it is an accumulation of your ancestral trauma that has not been dealt with. Now it's inside of you. When you are conceived, right, inside the womb of a mother, you will go out the world seeking the frequency of which she's experiencing. So if she's experiencing fear, what do you think you're going to experience? Fear. If your mother's been loved well, been nurtured right, been and catered to and provided for, you're going to seek out the frequency of which she is. This is exactly the reason why women are the creators of our reality. They're the creators of the universe, okay? We give birth, we give life. And so understanding that concept, the spirit of fear isn't just your own. It's a part of your ancestor composite, okay? It is your responsibility to overcome it. And how I know this is my grandfather. I communicate with my grandfather all the time, and I also communicate with my ancestors. They give me these downloads, okay? And one time I was meditating, and they were saying that, please forgive us for all that we've done. We didn't know better. But on the other side of paradise, it's heaven. So this spirit of fear, the spirit of why can't I go out my house? Why am I crying? Why am I anxious at my job? So it doesn't matter how much exercise you do, the music that you play or the foods that you eat. If you don't go to the spirit, because you came in as a spirit, okay? That's what I wanted to start off with, because people think that this fear is of their own. I would say 20%. Right? Because it's not like you had to say in when, where, how you came into this world. So it doesn't make sense for you to blame yourself for all that you're feeling, but it is your responsibility to pick yourself back up. The spirit of fear operates in two different worlds. There's the fear of failure and there's the fear of success. Okay, so the fear of failure comes from the fact that it's a malfunction in thinking. You've been living this lie and you're not willing to come to terms with the truth. And the truth is the spirit of failure, okay, is a necessary component, like how the earth needs the sun. It's necessary. You have to accept that it is a part of this beautiful component to become successful, to become thriving. You have to drown before you can swim. And I'm not encouraging you guys to drown. I'm not encouraging you guys, okay, don't get it twisted now. I'm just simply saying that you have to accept the fact that you're going to screw up. You get into relationships to heal. You don't heal and then get into relationships, right? You have to be conscious and have this discernment and this willpower to choose something better. But once you recognize the spirit of failure, you realize, oh, well, look at how many times Stephen King failed before he published his book. Look at how many times how many times Thomas Edison, they called Carl Jung crazy. They called all these people crazy, you know, but they're the most inspiring people in the world. And so there's something that has to do with the distortion of how society sees fear as. They think it's a bad thing. Fear is simply your soul communicating to you, yo, you're just not in the alignment of where you're supposed to be. So please be aware, okay? Come to terms with it and give yourself compassion and grace. This is not just your fear. This is the fear of everybody else that ran away for so long. It's almost like passing the baton. It takes a lot of people, right? You have to pass it on and pass it on, pass it on. But if you're constantly in motion and in survival and no one's sitting with themselves, it's exactly why this fear seems so overwhelming, because it's almost like your ancestors passed the baton to the next ancestor, and the next ancestor, and then it's just you. And then you're wondering why you're crying at work. It's not your fault, babe, but it is your responsibility to pick it back up. And the first thing is to be aware that this is the truth of life. If you want to be successful, you have to accept the fact that you're going to fail more than you can ever achieve anything. I failed so many things in my life. Like, I done been 200 pounds, right? I done been broke living in my car. I done been going through a witchcraft journey, 3 relationships that weren't love, and trying to believe that there's someone out there that chooses me, right? I get that. And so to me, I seem like I'm crazy, but to the world, they see it as, oh my gosh, she's been through so much. So the spirit of fear will distort your identity into a place where you don't deserve love. You don't deserve the reality that you want, but it's not the case. Once you accept the fact that you are becoming, okay, you're not broken. Okay, the fear doesn't make you broke. It's how you use the fear. You are becoming the best version of yourself by utilizing the fear. Okay, that's how I realized, so what if I lived in my car and I maxed out my cards and the people left and they never came back? What am I going to do about it? Well, I deserve love. My ancestors for so long married not from love, so I need to honor myself. Okay, so I made a solid commitment. I don't care how, and it took 5 years. I don't care what I have to do. I just know I need to love myself. This is exactly why healing is important, because I don't want my trauma to bleed out to my kids and pass this scorched woman who could have sat down and healed with herself. Right? I'm thinking about my grandkids and what type of grandmother I want to be. The love that I want my children to see and experience, because I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. So I utilized the spirit of fear by coming to terms that the truth is I fucked up. Okay, now I can do something about it. And now this weight of like, I'm not Miss Perfect. Thank God, I don't need to be, right? But for so long, I wanted to be a perfectionist. I procrastinated. I avoided. So the spirit of failure, right, can have different symptoms. You can either procrastinate or you can avoid, right? So, or you can overwork. I was the one that was busybody, but I wasn't. I was running away from my feelings. I was running away from my fears until it just caught up and it showed up as disease. So, are you a person that works, but never has time for themselves? Because I bet you are, or else you wouldn't be seeing this video. Are you the type of person that is, you should be going to the gym, but you don't want to because you're scared? Or are you the type of person like, you like the thrill? Some people like the thrill of procrastinating. It is crazy. People like the thrill of self-sabotage, okay? But once you understand this is coming from a place of fear, and maybe your entire lineage and your family are running away from fears. They're never living themselves. And if you have this longing of, you're supposed to be something better and greater than what it is right now, right? But everyone around you is just setting for less for some money, or just because they want to live. Because creating a living, right, is not the same thing as creating a life. And you know that there's a reality out there where you have time freedom, money freedom, you marry the love of your life, you have kids, and you just are in this most abundant, best version of yourself. But the spirit of fear is just holding you down. The first thing is just to admit it. My people perish from a lack of knowledge. And the lack of knowledge is what? Based on a lie that you believe, the malfunction in thinking. You don't need to heal if you tell yourself the truth. But I didn't tell myself the truth for a very long time. I was bad with my finances. I was bad in relationships. I didn't know how to love myself. Okay, girl, I've been through it all. Okay, to the point where I had to see a shaman. So I'm telling you this, is that no more spirit of fear. We're not stepping aside to play small. You're not here to manage your power, because all light belongs to you, and the universe will conspire on your behalf if you allow the universe to do so. Now, for the fear of success, this comes from a place of shame. This comes from a place of, I don't want people to think that I'm better. Okay. And I found myself when I was 200 pounds, everyone around me was sick. Everyone around me didn't want to be the best version of themselves. So I actually stalled out of a fear of success, because I didn't want them to leave. And I don't want them to think that I'm better than them, because I want the company, and we're human beings. We're social creatures. I want people to stay. So I actually delayed my workout, okay? Or I wouldn't go as hard, because I'm like, well, I had one friend at the time told me that my gym workouts weren't working, and that I'm never gonna get anywhere. Hello. And I believed her. And then spirit really came to me and was like, didn't you want to be healthy? Didn't you see your parents almost die in front of you? Don't you want to um honor that? Don't you want to take health seriously? And I was like, well, if I lose this friend, I'm gonna be alone. And the universe was like, well, alone and happy, right? Isn't that what you wanted? And I said, yeah. So that friend left, that relationship left. I'm by myself and I'm working out. And I remember I didn't have a gym membership, so I was deadlifting the couch. I was using rice packs. I was using jugs of water. I was doing everything I possibly can because I was so tired of the fear of success. And at the time, I didn't know. But all I knew was that if I don't set the standard for health, right, every girl that comes to me, I will have failed them. Every person that's asking me for advice and motivation, I would have failed them. So unconsciously, I didn't know spirit was working in my favor to become the best version of myself. And so I had to let go of this spirit of this fear of failure. And I let go of it today. But I also did the action of letting it go. So it wasn't until I consciously came into terms of that, oh, well, I let this go now, but all this other time I was trying to overcome the spirit of fear. And it manifests as failures or success. And so I'm simply telling you guys this is that, like, you are not here to manage your power or the light within you. You're here to radiate it. So what if people leave? So what if you have to leave the relationship? And for my girls out there, and this is something that I always tell my sister, is do not let any boyfriend stop you from your husband. And you know what I mean. You're not missing the person, you're missing the connection. And to get ahead of your time and to manifest the reality, you literally must be defined by the vision of the future and go to the future for those emotions, so that way the past, the present now doesn't define your life. And so what I mean by that is, even though I was in toxic relationships and I was treated like crap, and those people kept lying and leading to me, and I was betraying my own light, the only thing I had was a vision, and I meditated every single freaking day. Meditation isn't spiritual, it's soulful, it's clarity for the mind to remind me of I can have that reality despite the physical presence now. Again, the spirit of fear is real. Okay, you can have the fear of failure, you can have the fear of success. Both are fears. One comes from a place of not acknowledging the truth, and one comes from a place of not acknowledging the shame and guilt you would experience while trying to be the best version of yourself. And so I'm going to give you guys a 3-step remedy. So once I came to the conclusion, right, I decided to create a skill. And I always talk about this. The first 3.5 years of my workout, I didn't know what the F I was doing. I was taking the wrong protein. I had parasites, my skin was inflamed. I was eating like crap. I was justifying going to McDonald's for protein. Like, girl, I didn't know what I was doing the first 3.5 years, but I kept trying. I kept failing. I kept trying. And now I'm the best version of myself. And your girl's abs are about to come in. Hello. So what I say is that despite the fear, I chose to see the best version of myself. This is exactly why people stay where they are. It's not that they're afraid of you're afraid of something that doesn't exist, right? Because your mind. So if you can get into your mind and tell your mind the truth, is there's no fear. There is no fear at all. And if you understand that the moment your mother and your father conceived you, everything that they've been experienced, right? Because people don't realize is month 6, right? Your subconscious mind begins to form. So from month 6 of you being in your mother's womb up until any time that you come in terms with the spirit, this is exactly why it's hard. The programming is deep and the rewiring is deep. So don't blame yourself for not wanting to get out of bed. Don't blame yourself for eating like crap. You just don't know better. But now, if you decide to choose to want better, you have to make it your personal responsibility to win this battle and advocate for your soul and to be this defense attorney of your life. And I talk about that. Be your own damn defense attorney, okay? Like I always say, if all light belongs to you, the universe is naturally your business partner, your best friend. You can ask God for help, and God is knocking at your door every single day, waiting for you to answer the call. Okay? And the richest place in the world is a cemetery, because that's where all the dreams that could have been have not been. That's where people die. So you have to ask yourself, what would my life look like on my deathbed at age 85 or 90 years old? And will I live in regret, right? Or will I just be so crazy like Einstein and all of them and at least try? Oh, my thing came out. Sorry, y'all. But anyways, will I be like Einstein and all of them and at least be crazy enough because I have so much to live for? Like I always say, be fruitful, go forth and multiply Christ consciousness. Apologies, guys. Apologies, but much